So you want to build your own sliding gate. Now, I'm going to try and pass on some of the tips, the things I learned when I built mine. Now, some of these things I tell you are things that I did good and some things that I would do differently. First thing to know when you're designing your gate is how wide the opening will be. So in my case, this is a 20-foot wide opening, but the gate needs to be quite a bit larger than the 20 foot. So the rule of thumb is that a third of your gate will need to be sitting in the rollers while the other 2/3 are crossing the section. Simple math, I have 20-foot opening. That means I need another 10 foot over here on the rollers. And that's to counteract all that weight. So my 30-foot long gate is made out of 1.5 inch box section, you can see there, and have 5 cross braces running the length. Now what you see here, all this is cattle panel that I welded on there, and that worked great. So that lets the air pass through real easy, and it really stiffens up the gate, keeps your kids locked in, all that jazz. So no issue out of that. Now something that I would have done different is I would have added a cross brace right about here. All that would entail is sticking another section of box section out here with some runners tied into that there. And the purpose of that is to keep this gate from wobbling as it's traveling. Now that hasn't really caused a problem, but it does make you kind of worry. Something also you're going to want to build, since this gate is not using any kind of track on the ground or a wheel or anything, you want a way to support this gate as it sits fully closed. That's also to keep criminals from, just pushing your gate open. But all I've done is built an idler pulley and kind of this wedge guide system, so as this gate's starting to come in close, it doesn't just whack into the pole or something like that. It gently guides the gate a line and then supports it. Now my gate is 4.5 feet tall, and keep in mind the taller you go, the heavier that gate's going to be along with the width. So for instance, this gate weighs close to 300 pounds and at only 4.5 feet tall. So make sure that whatever posts you're using to mount your rollers to and the gate, that they can withstand that amount of pressure, because the post will not only be being pushed down when the gate is in the other direction, it will be being pulled up, and you want a pretty solid post for that. So in my case, I was able to get away with 4x4s, but you might have to go with a steel post or a 6x6 wood post. If you're interested in this kind of opener I'm using, this sliding gate opener, I made a video on that and I'll link that in the description. We're not going to talk about that right now though. So on the rollers, now this is something I would have done different. I cheaped out because these gate rollers, if you purchase them, they are quite expensive. I'll try and link some prices, but I made the homemade variety. Now these are idler pulleys with some just junk round scrap around here to keep the gate from popping out and to keep it supported. Now these have held up okay, but if you can stomach it, I would suggest that you buy the legit rollers to avoid any issues in the future. Now assuming you're going to use a chain gate opener, something I would have done different is I mounted my chain up about midway, and it droops down and then goes back about midway up on the other side. Now if I was to do that again, I would have mounted this chain down close to the bottom and used some angle iron to support the chain from dragging the ground or anything. That would be a lot better system, and I've seen that on some commercial installations. I used some just solid tires in some spots as well. Also on your install, you're going to want to make sure you have some kind of supporting mechanism, so as the gate is opened, it's not all the weight is hanging on the post. For instance, I got a tire down there to help support it as it rolls. Also have the safety catch here, just in case the gate was ever to pop off, it's not just going to fall flat over. Also in my instance, I'm wanting to make sure that the gate doesn't smack the posts as it opens. So got a couple of little scoops to keep that gate pushed away from the post. And here's another roller to keep it supported as it's fully open. Something else to think about is the color you're going to paint the gate. So I painted my gate black and then realized as I drive by in the dark, there's a busy road right here, you can't even tell there's a gate here. So I added this fluorescent triangle to help signify to anyone trying to pull in here at night that this is not open. So think about what color you're going to paint your gate. Well, I hope that helps someone with your own gate build and install. I make a lot of do-it-yourself type videos, and if you like that kind of thing, consider subscribing.
Keep thinking.